As a young art student at St. Norbert College in 1961, John Gordon never imagined he would become part of Green Bay Packers lore. But Gordon can lay claim to the design of one of the most iconic logos in sport, the original Packers G.
What happened was, I walked into work and there was no one there. Dad came down from his meeting with Lombardi with a piece of paper in his hand. And he said that Lombardi wants a logo. I'm not sure what the words were, but he wants a logo, and it's going to be a G on a football shape.
At the time, Gordon was an assistant equipment manager with the Packers working under Gerald "Dad" Brazier. We asked Gordon to resketch the original design, just as he first drew it 52 years ago. The concept for the logo may have come from Lombardi and Brazier, but the execution of the design was one only an artist could truly handle.
I'm facing the same problem that I did originally, to put a G on a football shape.
Somebody could sketch it, but it's so precise in terms of its symmetry, the negative and positive space. I highly doubt that someone who wasn't trained would be able to execute it, particularly in the days of doing things by hand. Today, maybe, but back then when it was created, I doubt it.
Packers historian Cliff Crystal says there are 2 to 3 different versions of the story about who designed the original Packers G floating around, including one that equipment manager Dad Brazier designed it himself.
I've talked to enough people, I've tried to research the subject. I understand Dad was a doodler, so maybe he even did some of his own doodling with the G, but I've also talked to artists who have told me that no, this had to be created by an artist. So I don't think at this point the story can be verified, but in my mind, John's version is much more plausible.
At his home, late into the night, the young Gordon was able to come up with this, the original Packers G, in 24 hours.
So this is the shape I brought in that morning to Dad Brazier, the equipment manager, who took it to Vince Lombardi, and it was immediately okayed.
Since 1961, the Packers G has been redesigned. But one thing that hasn't changed is the Packers' domination. They have won more championships, 13, than any other team in National Football League history.
To put the G on the football shape was a statement that the Green Bay Packers would dominate the game. And that same year, they began that domination.
I'm Mike Counter reporting for St. Norbert College.